My name is Emily. I'm 32 years old. 4 years ago, I married the love of my life, James. We were so happy in the beginning, but I never imagined that the person who would hurt our marriage the most would be James's own mother. Let me tell you how it all started, and how it almost ended. When James and I got married, we decided to live close to his mother, Margaret. She was 62 years old and lived alone. Her husband had passed away 5 years earlier. James was her only child, and he felt responsible for her. I understood that. I respected it. At first, I tried very hard to make Margaret like me. I cooked her favorite meals. I visited her every weekend. I wanted her to feel like I was not taking her son away from her. But nothing I did was ever good enough. Margaret always found something to complain about. 2 years after we got married, we had a beautiful baby girl. We named her Lily. She was the light of our lives. When Lily was born, I thought Margaret would finally be happy. I thought she would love being a grandmother. For a few weeks, she was kind. She brought baby clothes and cooked for us. But soon, the criticism started again. She said babies should cry a little. It is good for their lungs. When Lily got sick with a high fever at 8 months old, I was terrified. I wanted to take her to the doctor immediately, but Margaret said, "It is just a small fever. In my time, we did not run to the doctor for everything." James listened to his mother. That night, Lily's fever went even higher. We had to rush her to the hospital at 2 a.m. The doctor said if we had waited longer, it could have been dangerous. I was so angry and scared. I cried in the hospital hallway. James held me and said sorry. But when we went home, Margaret acted like nothing had happened. She never apologized. That was the first time I felt something break inside me. Margaret's interference became worse every year. She started calling James every single day, sometimes at night. She would tell him things about me. "Emily bought new curtains without asking you. Emily's sister came over again. Emily is not cooking healthy food for you." She never said these things to my face. She always went behind my back. One day, I found messages on James's phone. Margaret had written, "Son, Emily is changing you. You used to listen to your mother. Now you listen to her. Be careful." My hands were shaking. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I showed the messages to James that night. He looked uncomfortable. He said, "Mom is just worried about me. She doesn't mean anything bad." I asked him, "Do you believe her? Do you think I am changing you in a bad way?" He stayed quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Of course not, but she is my mother. I don't want to fight with her." That night, I cried in the bathroom so Lily wouldn't hear me. I felt so alone. My own husband would not stand up for me. The breaking point came when Lily was 3 years old. Margaret started pressuring James to buy a bigger house, right next to hers. She said, "I'm getting old. I need my family close to me. It is your duty as a son." James began to seriously consider it. He even went to look at houses with his mother without telling me first. When I found out, I was furious. "James, we already have a home. We are happy here. Why do we need to move next to your mother?" He said, "It will make things easier. Mom can help with Lily, and it is closer to my work, too." I knew that was not true. His work was in the opposite direction. I told him clearly, "I will not move next to your mother. I need space. Our marriage needs space." For the first time, James got really angry with me. We had the biggest fight of our marriage that night. We shouted. Lily started crying. The next morning, I packed some clothes for Lily and me. I told James, "I'm going to stay with my sister for a while. I need time to think." He did not stop me. He just stood there, looking tired and confused. I left with our daughter that day. Living with my sister was not easy, but it gave me peace. For the first time in years, nobody criticized how I cooked or how I raised my child. James came to visit Lily every weekend. He looked sad. He said he missed us. One day, he told me something important. "Mom has been acting strange lately," he said. "She keeps calling me and crying. She says nobody visits her anymore. Even our relatives stopped coming because she complains too much." He also said, "I never realized how much you did every day." I stayed quiet. I wanted him to understand on his own. Then, something happened that changed everything. Margaret fell in her bathroom one night. She could not get up. She called James, but his phone was on silent because he was working late. She called her sister, but nobody answered. Finally, she called a neighbor. She had to stay in the hospital for 3 days. James felt very guilty. He visited her every day after work. But here is the sad part. Margaret started complaining about the nurses, about the food, about how nobody cared about her. Even in the hospital, she pushed people away with her words. James told me later, "I saw how she treats everyone, not just you. She pushes everyone away, and then she wonders why she is alone." That week, something shifted in James. After Margaret came home from the hospital, James went to her house and had a long talk with her. I was not there, but he told me what he said. "Mom," he said, "I love you, but I also love my wife and my daughter. You cannot keep saying bad things about Emily. You cannot keep trying to control our life. If you continue, I will have to limit how much we visit you." Margaret was shocked. She cried. She said James was choosing his wife over his mother. James replied calmly, "I am not choosing. I am setting boundaries. Emily is my family too. If you cannot respect her, you cannot be part of our daily life." For the first time, James chose us clearly. 2 months after I left, James asked me to come home. He said, "Emily, I was wrong. I let my mother come between us. I was trying to keep everyone happy, but I made you suffer. I am sorry." I looked into his eyes. I could see he had really changed. He was no longer the mama's boy who stayed quiet. He had become a husband who protected his marriage. We learned how to set healthy boundaries. We learned to talk to each other first before listening to outside opinions. We also made new rules with Margaret. She could visit once a week, but only if she spoke respectfully. She could not give parenting advice unless we asked. If she said something negative about me, James would end the conversation. At first, Margaret hated the rules. She complained. She said we were punishing her. But slowly, she started to understand. When she followed the rules, James visited her more. When she didn't, he stayed away. She began to see that her behavior had consequences. Today, our marriage is stronger than ever. Lily is 4 years old now. She is happy and healthy. Last month, Margaret said something I never expected to hear. She looked at me and said, "Emily, I think I made many mistakes. I was afraid of losing my son, so I tried to control everything. I am sorry." I did not say, "It's okay," because it was not okay what she did. But I said, "Thank you for saying that." Karma did come for her, not in a loud or dramatic way. It came quietly. She lost the close relationship she wanted with her son. She lost the daily presence of her granddaughter. She had to face her own loneliness, created by her own words and actions. I learned something important from all of this. When someone tries to destroy a marriage, even if they think they are doing it out of love, they often destroy their own relationships in the end. A mother-in-law who truly loves her son should want him to have a happy marriage. She should support his wife, not compete with her. She should give advice only when asked, and she should respect boundaries. James also learned that being a good son does not mean obeying his mother in everything. Being a good son sometimes means protecting his own family, even from his mother. And I learned that I should never stay silent when someone disrespects me. Love does not mean accepting everything. Real love includes respect. If you are listening to this story, maybe you are going through something similar. Maybe your mother-in-law or father-in-law or even your own family is interfering in your marriage. Please remember this: your marriage is your home. It is the foundation of your life. You and your partner must protect it together. You must set boundaries, even when it is difficult. Karma has a way of balancing things. People who plant seeds of conflict often end up harvesting loneliness. But people who plant seeds of respect and boundaries, they usually end up with peace. Thank you for listening to my story. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, your marriage deserves protection. Take care of yourselves.